숨뜨게 움직이는 놈은 제일 먼저 돛대에 걸어둘 거다. 아침이라고 늦장 부리지 마.
Well, with that lovely note, greetings and salutations everyone. I'm Ekamac, this is Limbus Company. In the last episode we sent a singing team through the Mirror Dungeon, and I actually forgot to mention something about the Rupture team, so let's just pop into that for a moment. Don Quixote over here is a Walpurgis Knight ID. It's going to be very hard to get her since Walpurgis Knight is not active. If you don't have her, you can use Utus. The thing is that she's not particularly decent with her Rupture Count application. She just gets extra Rupture Count on field command, nothing else. Exploit the Gap is good, and it does get stronger from having Rupture, but it's not good at maintaining the Rupture. Even if you do pick up the right gifts. But she does have a way out. Ebony Stem, something that she's had since the beginning. At the start of turn, gain 1 pierce damage. On hit with a heads coin, inflict 1 bind and 1 rupture count next turn. This is actually kind of useful for her. Because while it is relying on heads hits, it still does maintain the rupture count, so while it's not as good as Yi Sang's Dimension Shredder, it is a possibility. Anyway, we did our singing team, it's now time for a Poise team. Okay, we have a pretty good starting set with the Poise gifts. I'm going to pick up the Ornamental Horseshoe and the Nebulizer. The Nebulizer is going to be fun because it's going to be for a Pride team. But before we get in, I need to point out something. This guide was made before the release of Captain Ishmael. I'm going to be using a build that uses Captain Ishmael, but just so you know what we would have been using, we'd have been using She Association Ishmael instead. It would be kind of annoying because the thing about She Association, when they appeared in Library of Ruina, they were half dead at the time, being completely swamped with unreasonable requests. And so they had a lot of mechanics where, if at low health, gain something nice. Which is why a lot of the She Association ID abilities have below 50% HP do nice things. Flashing Strike here gets absolutely crazy at low HP, but the actual star of the show would be Heathcliff here. 50% HP, skill power plus 2. 50% HP plus 2 skill power. They need to show a little bit of consistency, I think. At less than 50% HP, attack weight plus 1. It also costs HP to use, so he does get to use it sooner. And his counter also loses him HP on use. So he is pretty good at getting below that 50% HP. And then spamming Flashing Strike because attack weight plus coin power is actually very strong. But the thing is, this requires a lot of babysitting on the first few levels, so it's annoying to set up, and you have to avoid healing gifts for the rest of the run. It's a balancing act that's very obnoxious. I'm so glad that they added a new Ishmael Poise ID, because now we can just focus on hitting things hard. Before we started, I got Picard to Yi Sang to up tie 4. There's only one really nice thing about that. It's this. It raises the number of reuses he gets for Relentless Stabbing, and because this is a Poise Mirror Dungeon team, he's gonna get a lot. And I guess the last point to add is that we have no other IDs for Ryoshu. She needs a 7th ID so she can have get full rest bonus runs. The idea is actually that you just pick 6 teams and cycle them through, but I like the extra runs. Anyway, yeah. Let's hunt some whales. So we're going to have to skip over the mystery spaces so we can get to the vendor. There is a reason why Sync is going first and not Ishmael. The reason is that it's because Ishmael only needs to get her second skill slot on the 3rd turn. Sync Sinclair is going to enjoy having it being the fastest in the party now.
내가 시범을 보이지. 이미 도착했다.
저놈을 쫓게!
지쳤는데. 별것도 아니네.
Yeah, the coin reuse is absolutely ridiculous, but what's really fun is his Pekoji Sing's skill 3. It's a flat out Dragoon dive.
급소가 전부 꿰뚫렸네.
Now, you might remember that Captain Ishmael has this problem of her sanity going down on allies getting kills on higher level enemies. And in Mirror Dungeons, enemy levels get very much higher than you do.
나의 상대는 어디 있는가?
It's why we have a couple of things. First of all, they fixed the glitch. The Middle Mersault's bonus is actually going to kick in for her, so she's going to get 10 SP at turn end even when we do get to that point.
바람구멍을 내주지.
저놈을 쫓게!
그렇게 무르진 않네.
So before I start doing the skimming, there's one more thing about this team. We probably won't get to see it, but it is a possibility. Poise and Bleed overlap a lot.
별것도 아니네.
If you might remember from the first episode, Soothe the Dead only works if you have 5 burn identities, so you usually can't mix and match. Usually. Ooh, this is actually the purchasable tier 4 gift. Consume half of burn count on enemies to deal burn potency times consume burn count bonus wrath damage. Targets lose burn count consumed /2 defense levels for the next turn. Kinda fun. There is enough overlap between Bleed teams and Poise teams in this team that we actually could use both the Bleed fusion gift and the Poise fusion gift at the same time.
누굴 베어버리면 되는 거야?
It's extremely unlikely to happen, but it is a possibility. Actually, I should have also been looking at the I should have been looking at the Bleed starting gifts as well, because maybe we could have started off with the recipe for the Bleed gifts. I didn't think of that.
저놈을 쫓게!
These guys are pierce resistant, and yet we're still doing a pretty good job of mashing through them.
급소가 전부 꿰뚫렸네. 급소가 전부 꿰뚫렸네.
완벽한 거리고.
Mind you, when we get to the higher level floors, if we run into more pierce resistant enemies, which isn't likely because I think most of the enemies in Kanto 5 are actually pierce weak, but if it does happen, we have a counter. Wow, Ishmael had quite the rant for winning that fight. But yeah, as I was saying, if we do come across enemies that are pierce resistant, then we can just use Utis's holiday attack. And potentially overclock it if we need to.
완벽한 거리.
하나 가져간.
Oh yeah, speaking of pierce resistant enemies.
제법 지쳤나 보.
In fact, can we use that right now? This might be a little bit of a waste, but sure, let's do it. Oh, this is definitely a waste because she's the person moving last.
총원 불격. 저놈을 추적해. 있는 아이도 선물을 줬으면서.
And it also happens to deal a little bit of SP damage, so whoops.
배는 맛은 있는 편이 좋은데.
급소가 전부 꿰뚫렸네.
그렇게 무르진 않네. 역시 무르네.
Oh, and since she's a Sync Association member, she actually gets Mersault's SP buff. That's nice. Okay, we have a lot of options today. Nothing that could be used for a fusion recipe, so we can pick whatever we want. I'd like to have slightly better resource generation, but I don't feel like that would be... I don't want to deal with Slash Boost, so Voodoo Doll is our next pick. 3 damage to everyone, power down at low health is nice. Wow, today's feeling very ungenerous.
직접 손봐주지. 거기구나.
기세가 수그러지는 건 반격의 기회다. 저놈을 추적해.
Boing.
내가 시범을 보이지. 기분도 나오지 않는 놈이 그래. 급소가 전부 꿰뚫렸네.
나의 승리다.
역시 무르네.
The only 2 people that don't have allies here are Pirate Gregor and Kurokumo Rodian. This is a war zone. My gun must blow someone up. The abnormality spoke with clarity, loading its shotgun loudly. In this gory war, the devil approached me one day to suggest a deal. They promised me to give me a gun that can blow anything up, but the catch was its last shell should land on the head of my beloved. I accepted the gun and the ammunition with laughter. My beloved, huh? Did I ever have people I held that dearly? I couldn't be sure anymore. I had to have joined this war for someone I loved. That much I remember. I noticed an old pendant on the shooter's neck. Thanks to that, I'm free to point the barrel at anyone I want. No matter where I fire it, this shotgun can blast fireworks into anyone like it hit them point blank. How wonderful is that? I bet that fellow had their beloved. Yep, I'm talking the one whose head I just blew up. They might have remembered what I don't. That just makes this just too exhilarating. Killing people who remember their loved ones, I mean. The shooter keeps firing its gun as it speaks. The shotgun shoots out pellets as easily and lightly as the shooter laughs. By the way, whose side are you on? I'm pretty sure that this is a bad option because this is the option we want to pick. Tell the shooter to look at the pendant on its neck. The shooter screamed upon opening the pendant. You made me remember my beloved. Do you know what that means to me? Filled with rage, the shooter pointed its gun at me and pulled the trigger. However, the projectiles vanished in the air, and the shooter fell to the floor and started to cry. I didn't want to remember the people I loved anymore. Satisfied laughter could be heard somewhere. Ego gift, Pendant of Nostalgia earned. Combat start, a random ally gains 3 points potency. Prioritize identities with attack skills that gain poise count. Prioritize allies with gloom attack skills. Those allies gain 3 poise potency and 2 poise count. So yeah, very good for a poise team. Feel free to take a rest. So, once again, like everything we have here wants to get upgraded, but if we get the nebulizer up high enough, then it starts kicking in at just pride resonance, so we no longer need to arrange for things to line up. We want to ignore the horseshoe in case we see something cool on the next floor. I'm going to avoid upgrading and see if I can get something special on the next vendor. But I need to remember to leave a lot of cost for myself, so if I don't get lucky, I don't spam refresh. Go with the mystery tile. Ah, it's the teddy bear. So if you don't have the right skill, it does get a little bit tricky.
이런 일은 실패해 본 적이 없지.
Well, maybe that's just because Ishmael did lose a little bit of SP from not getting kills earlier. It's very important that she be on a team with Middlemer Salt and one of her Picot IDs, otherwise bad stuff could happen. Yeah, these guys are level 45, so she's going to be pretty annoyed if we don't let her get kills.
배는 맛은 있는 편이 좋은데.
기세가 수그러지는군. 저놈을 추적해!
별것도 아니네. 찢어진 톱같이 흐느적거리는구만.
Yes. Strips of pink ribbons float this way, but we're not going to get to see them, right? Rodian is kind of not a good identity unless she gets a lot of poise and poise count. Because of mirror dungeons, it lets her be that good identity.
거기구나.
잘했군. 한 놈도 남지 않을 때까지 지금을 반복한다. 쉴 새는 없다.
Whatever you say. Ooh. Okay, what can we do? People say don't pick the max HP plus 15%. I prefer to take this because it means that attacks, you aren't giving out resistance to most attack types. But also Wound Clarity is nice because that's a strong bleed gift. It's not part of the fusion recipe though. Actually, let's look at this. We don't have too many wrath skills, but I feel like we do have a decent number of bleed skills that could make use of the wound cleared anyway.
말게.
Yeah, the basic enemies are now level 45. She is going to start bleeding SP.
완벽한 거리군.
이미 도달했다.
팔 하나 가져간다.
그렇게 미루진 않네.
완벽한 거리. 저놈을 추적해.
Of course, we still want to chase that Pride Resonance because it is giving us high chances of getting the assist attack, isn't it?
배는 맛은 있는 편이 좋은데.
급수가 전복돼 뚫렸네.
이 작살엔 필살의 집념이 담겨. 저놈을 추적해.
별것도 아니네.
Okay, let's just be nice. You can have the kill. No reason why we should lose that SP at the end of a fight, right?
한 놈도 남지 않을 때까지 지금을 반복한다. 쉴 새는 없다.
Damn it. This is a dark cavern. Sounds of hard objects hitting each other loudly echo at random intervals. The noise is coming from 3 large skulls. They approach us, clacking and rattling. They have no bodies, so they roll. They make noises endlessly, even as they roll. Looking at the 3 skulls that rolled at our feet, we find they have different expressions. Should we choose one of them? Okay, we have 3 possible options. Darn it. There's something weird going on with the community page, so I can't see what the guide is. I know that the deranged skull gives us the ego gift if we pass the skill check. Lust and Gloom shouldn't be too bad. The skull with a bizarre expression was lifted. As if it was driven crazy, it rolled around and clattered its teeth without any rhyme or reason to it. Just as you started to be unsure what to do with it, the hands felt lighter, so you looked down and found it turned into a tiny trinket. Gathering skulls earned.
어려운 수법은 아니더군.
After defeating an enemy by using a Pride, Affinity or Pierce damage skill, raise the unit's Pierce power by 2 for the next 2 turns. We're selling this immediately because I don't need it. I feel like that's better than any cost that it could have offered us. Okay, this is turning into a bad run. At least we can get the cigarette holder, but this also means that we have no chance for the bleed gift. We might be able to get the poise gift.
직접 손봐주지.
But we have very bad odds here.
거기구나.
찢어진 독같이 흐느적거리는구만.
I guess the reason why I dislike the Gloom Pecatulum isn't so much that they roll stupidly high, because it is still kind of reasonable numbers at the moment. The reason I don't like them is because they're fast and often unable to be redirected.
제법 지쳤나 보.
이 작살엔 필살의 집념이 담겨 있지.
내가 시범을 보이지. 제법 지쳤나 보.
잘했군. 한 놈도 남지 않을 때까지 지금을 반복한다. 쉴 새는 없다.
별것도 아니네.
선원들, 나를 보호해라.
Hang on.
시간 있나? 고래에 집중해.
That wasn't an ally defeat, that was just an enemy dying from the voodoo doll. Ooh, that's kind of unfortunate. I feel like we could do more damage like that. Oh yeah, I think we actually want to use her Ardor Blossom Star here.
총원 불격!
급소가 전부 꽤 뚫렸네.
Oh.
당신을 인도해주진 못해도 따뜻하게 안아줄 수는 있어요.
Unfortunately, we didn't get what we wanted, so we've been thrown this so many times, we might as well take it. Going for the rest stop, we'll have to just throw a bunch of upgrades out there.
배는 맛은 있는 편이 좋은데.
하나 가져간다.
이 작살엔 필살의 집념이 담겨있지.
배는 맛은 있는 편이 좋은데.
What happened to you, Gregor?
역시 모르네.
저놈을 추적해!
Yikes, Gregor. Gregor almost got staggered by that.
내가 시범을 보이지. 이미 도달했다.
저놈을 추적해! 저놈을 추적해! 잘했군! 한 놈도 남지 않을 때까지 지금을 반복한다! 쉴 새는 없다!
찢어진 똑같이 흐느적. 별것도 아니네.
The upside is that she Mersault pays heals SP at the end of the turn, even if it's a killing turn, so it is going to help get her back up to full if it's not too much lost. Feel free to take a rest. We do not have nearly enough pride gifts to do anything. That said, we do have a few recipes for some decent bleed gifts, I guess. Hang on, can I enhance this? No, I can't. Ooh. No, it's not worth it. The bleed gift wouldn't be worth it. And I don't think a Wrath gift would be worth it either, so... Yeah, let's just skedaddle.
직접 손봐주지.
And it's Talisman Door. We're starting to not see very interesting enemies around here. Who wants to play a game of get really high pride power when we're about to use Dimension Shredder?
바람구멍을 내.
That sounds like fun to me.
저놈을 추적해.
I'm recording.
색색이 황홀하고 아예 기억 못하게 하려는 길이구려.
I swear, it's always KK Rodian that keeps messing that up. Hmm.
완벽한 거리군.
이미 도달했다.
Wow, that was very unlucky.
선원들, 나를 보호해라.
So then, who has the talismans? I actually kind of messed up here because I kept throwing the talisman. I didn't plan out my talismans that well, but oh well.
완벽한 거리군. 저놈을 추적해.
Wundol stopped in place as if nothing was happening. We know how this goes. We actually have quite a few people who could do that, but not necessarily for having good sloth. Gregor gathered the detached talismans and stood before the wooden doll, so no one will cry.
보물상자 열쇠 따는 게 더 어렵겠어.
I probably should have gone for one of the sync IDs because they like haste, but on the other hand... Well, this is an entire turn of absolutely no resonance.
배는 맛은 있는 편이 좋은데.
이놈의 덧없는 분노를 담아 이 선물을 퍼부어주도록 하지.
급소가 전부 꿰뚫렸네.
And that is that. Okay, what gifts do we have? Illusory Hunt is good for guaranteeing that we get a little bit more damage against bosses. That's nice. I think Standard Duty Battery, just for the fact that we're getting extra Rupture on all our hits. Plus 3 damage to all hits that land is never something you can really say no to. Anyhow, I'll see you at the mystery space.
이번에는 누굴
Okay, what's waiting for us? It's a shame that you're on this run and not one of the others. A resentful tree stands among a desolate plain. The place has an air of umbrage. Something feels discordant about the sky. You note one twig growing out of the tree like an arm. Though the tree is unmoving, it seems to want something. So you can cut this whole thing short by choosing Snap the Twig. That gives you the ego gift immediately. But it also hits the party with some SP damage. Alternatively, choose Sprinkle Water. You sprinkled water around the tree. It soon boiled away as it would on a cast iron skillet. You don't see any change in the tree. Maybe the twig has become livelier? No matter how long you look at it, it's hard to tell. We have to keep hitting, give it more water until eventually it gives us the result we want. We got it very quickly. There's actually no guarantee on how many tries it'll take. I've had it go for something like 50 tries. The foreboding aura disappeared at some point too. Could you really have quenched its age-long thirst? The twig rustled and came to you. Gave you a handful of gifts as a token of its gratitude. Thunder Branch. Everyone heals for 30 SP and HP. When inflicting Rupture Potency with skill effects, inflict 1 Rupture Potency and 1 Rupture Potency count on the target.
나의 상대는 어디 있는가? 완벽한 거리건.
팔 하나 가져간다.
Stop! He's already... well, no, he's not dead. We can't trigger the 4-point absolute resonance, so this is fine.
이미 도달했다. 거기구나.
So yeah, Poise, I probably should have mentioned this before. The way Poise works is that for each Poise potency you have 5% chance of getting a crit. But then it reduces your count on crit. So Poise count is how many times you can crit before you lose all your potency. And a lot of early kits just didn't have the ability to maintain their count and their potency equally. It was pretty annoying. Oh, now you give me the rusted muzzle. More recently, they've been messing about with it to try and get it to work, and it does seem like they're doing a pretty decent job. So it's the Bandaged King. I feel like we have enough mixed abilities that we should be able to find someone who can meet this. Rodian, it's up to you. Yeah, 1 coin flip versus 2 coin flips. Bandages made to heal. He will bleed out as soon as the bandages are undone. He must remain bound to maintain his shape.
이런 일은 실패해본 적이 없지.
Grand welcome. It's the very end, so it's not much good to us, but it is a thing that we have. Oh wait, Stone Tomb! I'm always overlooking this one. Allies gain 1.5 poise potency from skill effects. When an ally defeats an enemy with Sloth, they gain 2 poise and 2 poise count at the next turn's start once per turn. And we can't afford anything else unless we sell a gift. We could sell the gifts, but I like having as many gifts going into the final round as I can get, so phlebotomy pack. Now we can fix up those tiny scratches on them. Who are you? What brings you here? We remember the paper chair man. You can't that?
당연하지. 내 나침반이 틀린 적.
검 끝을 바라본다.
배는 맛은 있는 편이 좋은데.
기세가 수그러지는 반격의 기회다.
Oh man, 80% odds and no assist attack. That's very disappointing.
그렇게 무르진 않네.
Never trust it. Oh yeah, she's gonna obliterate that horde.
배는 맛은 있는 편이 좋은데.
나의 승리다.
Boy, leave the kills for your captain.
종원, 조명이 전멸하는 저곳으로 파도가 모든 것을 쳐부술 거다.
I guess if there's one interesting mechanic about this team, aside from the whole poise mechanics, well, I guess there are a few bits and bobs here and there, so I could go over those because this is proving to be the fastest run yet. We want PS weakness, because that's what our team is like. So, first of all, Sync Association. This has something very interesting mechanic tied to their skill 3. I mean, aside from Declared Duel being something that expires when someone else inflicts Declared Duel, they have something called Single Combat. When the attack skill slot is targeted by a single unit and only that single unit, For Sinclair, it gives fragile on hit. I know that this has a mechanic for Utis, but maybe that's her Uptype 4 version, or maybe I'm misremembering. The other person with interesting mechanic is Twin Hook First Mate Gregor. On a head's hit against a target with bleed, gain unjust enrichment. This will, when he uses an ammo consuming skill, then it consumes all unjust enrichment to deal bonus damage. So up to 100% more damage. If he doesn't have ammo, then it's just 5% times a critical hit. And you've seen how many times we get critical hits here. His one ammo consuming skill is Foregone Conclusion. Spend one ammo, deal 50% more damage on a critical hit. It's quite fun to watch.
바라본다.
I have seen him solo the Drifting Fox. Okay, we need to do a little bit of reorganizing these skills.
내가 시범을 보이지.
기세가 수그러지는 반격의 기회. 저놈을 추적해.
Oh, okay, you get the 40% chance there, but you don't get the 80% chance the other time. I see how it is. It's RNG.
이미 도달했다.
No, guys, don't do that. You go after him. You go after them. Actually, wait. Swap over. We want to save Pride Resonance for next turn.
내가 시범을 보이지.
이 작살엔 필살의 집념이 담겨있지. 완벽한 거리군.
급소가 전부 꿰뚫렸네.
잘했군. 한 놈도 남지 않을 때까지
역시
지금을
모르네.
반복한다. 쉴 새는 없다.
별것도 아니네.
Yes, ma'am.
기름도 나오지 않는 놈이구려.
Okay, do we have good odds for Envy Resonance? No, we don't. So go for Crown of Roses. We did lose a little bit of SP at the end there, but it's not the end of the world.
작살. 놓치지 말게.
And it's you, buddy. So, here's the question. Can we pull off the trick? Yes, actually, because, well, 45% odds, but still pretty good. No, you're moving too slow. We have to go for the... It's only when she's going first we want to try out the
맛은 있는 편이
holiday attack, because it gives out fragility or damage up of the most common resonance, and it just wouldn't be used well. I've actually been hoping to up-tie it just so it has extra.
색색이 황홀하고 아예 기억 못하게 하려는 길이구려.
여행에는 목적이 있었지.
His arm is already broken. How unfortunate for you. Ah, you know what I should have done when I was complaining about my characters having taken damage? I should have used Pursuance. That heals allies with least HP percentage. But I didn't think of it, so now we're here.
내가 시범을 보이지.
저놈을 추적해.
모든 걸 걷어들일 순 없었어.
So we have Gregor, so he can go straight into hitting this with his own attack. Oh, but... Ooh, this is tempting. So we want to target this last. Now here's the question. Okay, there's a little trick with mass attacks, is that they'll prioritize throwing their extra hits onto untargeted skill slots. So as you can see, because we targeted the wine barrel twice, it should force her to use this on it forces her to target everything onto the fairy gentleman. I think. It's entirely possible that this will backfire, but I think he's going to die before he even has a chance to do his special mechanic.
이놈의 덧없는 분노를 담아 이 선물을 퍼부어주도록 하지.
별것도 아니네.
총원, 조명이 전멸하는 저곳으로 파도가 모든 것을 쳐부술 거다.
색색이 황홀하고 아예 기억 못하게 하려는 길이구려.
Goodbye!
아직 모자라. 여러분들, 왜 그렇게 뒷걸음질을 하시는 건가요?
Ooh, you're kind of a murderous one, aren't you, Sink Sinclair? Yeah, Ishmael is cool, but she's definitely a support ID. They're certainly right in that guide about Sink Sinclair being the one dealing the most damage. Anyway, it would have been nice if I could have upgraded the wound cleared because, remember, this is a team with a lot of bleed. Getting able to stick out a lot of bleed count would have helped out a lot. But I feel like I picked right. Anyway, we have one more team to go, and I have to do it before tomorrow because that's when they're going to release the new... That's when the reset happens. And I want to have my Mirror Dungeon hard bonus for when they add the new boss. Anyway, until then guys, take care. See you all around.
굼뜨게 움직이는 놈은 제일 먼저 돛대에 걸어둘 거다. 아침이라고 늦장 부리지 마.